Dark matter is the elusive component that makes up most of the universe. After Fritz Zwicky proposed its existence back in 1933, almost a century later, and we still have not figured out much more about it. But a new theory suggests that we may be able to detect dark matter through the merging of black holes. And guess what? We may have already done it. Could this be the first evidence of a new kind of dark matter? Hey Space Cats, I'm Dr. Maggie Lou, and in this week's video, let's talk about dark matter signatures in gravitational waves. Now, for decades, dark matter has been astrophysicists' ultimate ghost. It makes up roughly 85% of the matter in our universe. But because it doesn't interact with light, we can't see it. However, dark matter does interact via gravity. When two black holes spiral towards each other, they merge, they will create ripples in the fabric of space-time called gravitational waves. Now, if dark matter interacts only gravitationally, then gravitational wave observations may be the only way through which we can actually test its nature. That is to say, if that black hole merger happens inside a dense environment of dark matter, the dark matter will leave a fingerprint on those waves. Now, many leading theories suggest that dark matter could in fact be made up of light bosons, particles that are so incredibly light that they behave less like individual particles and more like coordinated waves. When these dark matter waves encounter a rapidly spinning black hole, a phenomenon called superradiance occurs. The spinning black hole transfers some of its rotational energy and momentum to that dark matter, amplifying it. This concentrates the diffused dark matter into an extremely thick, dense cloud swirling around the black hole. These superradiant clouds can have up to 10% of the black hole mass, and physicists often compare this to like a paddle churning through cream into dense butter. Now, when you have a merger, that second black hole begins to spiral towards the first one, and it has to plow through this hyperdense cloud of buttery dark matter. In a vacuum, two black holes merging in empty space would produce a very clean, very predictable gravitational wave pattern, what we call a waveform. But in dark matter, the surrounding dark matter cloud would exert a subtle gravitational drag on the moving black holes. This dynamic friction alters the speed and the trajectory of their final spiral. And this is because the black holes are moving differently than they would be if they were in a vacuum. The gravitational waves that they radiate would change shape. The dark matter effectively encodes its existence as a subtle phase shift into that waveform. Now, with advanced mathematical models, we can predict exactly what a gravitational wave would look or even sound like if it moved through a dark matter cloud versus it moving through a vacuum. But the problem is that right now, all of our gravitational wave detectors are based on the ground. LIGO, Virgo and KRASHDOWN are detectors primarily designed to observe gravitational waves in the high frequency regime, specifically between 10 and 10,000 Hertz. These are optimized for detecting equal mass mergers, and looking for dark matter spikes around such binaries seems like a fool's errand, because if two giant, equally heavy black holes are aggressively churning through the fabric of space, their combined chaotic gravitational field will act like a cosmic blender, completely scattering and dispersing any dark matter structure before that final merging. The time spent in dark matter would be incredibly short, typically lasting just seconds. So really what you need is extreme mass ratio mergers, where a tiny stellar mass black hole falls into a supermassive black hole. Here, it's less of a violent collision and more like a pebble dropping into a massive pond. The supermassive black hole is barely deformed by that tiny intruder, and the time spent churning up that dark matter would be months to even years. Here, the dark matter signal is much larger, cleaner, and pretty much impossible to mistake for anything else. The upcoming space-based gravitational wave observatories, LISA and Tianqin, would be more suitable for observing these extreme mass ratio in spirals. But here's the thing. Physicists assume that only extreme mass ratio in spirals could preserve a spike. A tiny stellar mass black hole wouldn't kind of disrupt the environment of a supermassive black hole. However, this is actually only true when we're talking about the traditional heavy particle dark matter, so things like WIMPs. When it comes to ultra light dark matter, like light bosons, the rules of physics completely change. Light bosons behave less like localized billiard balls and more like a continuous macroscopic fluid or a wave field. Simulations show that these light boson environments are incredibly resilient in even equal mass mergers. And this is because it turns out that instead of being flung away, the scalar wave field can actually form binary-induced bound states. The orbiting black holes can actively pump energy into that dark matter field, trapping it into specific quantum-like states that wrap around both black holes. Also, even if the binary disrupts part of the dark matter cloud, the dark matter can quickly replenish itself via ongoing superradiance if the primary black hole is spinning fast enough. And so, because they proved a significant fraction of a light boson structure can actually survive the chaotic environment of an equal mass merger, we no longer have to wait for LISA or Tianqin to launch in the 2030s to start finding such dark matter patterns in gravitational wave waveforms. So astronomers started to apply these models to data captured by the LIGO Virgo CAGRA global network of observatories. In the GWTC3 catalogue, there are 28 very clear high signal to noise ratio gravitational wave signals, and 27 of these perfectly match mergers that occur in a vacuum. But one signal, GW190728, originally detected from a merger of 20 times the mass of our Sun, showed a distinct distortion. The astronomers stopped short of claiming a definitive discovery, but GW190728 stands out as a highly compelling candidate. The pattern matches what we would expect if the black holes merged right through a dense cloud of dark matter made up of light bosons. They have not definitely discovered dark matter, rather they've proven that their newly developed waveform templates are sensitive enough to pull a potential dark matter signal out of real data. Now in this study they find a Bayes factor of about 3.5, which means that the data statistically prefers the dark matter environment model over a vacuum space model. But it isn't the gold standard 5 sigma discovery that we typically take as a threshold to cross. Nonetheless, this result is really interesting because if GW190728 is confirmed to be a real detection of a superradiant cloud, it immediately answers one of our biggest questions in modern physics. What is the mass of a dark matter particle? Now, superradiance only happens when a particle's quantum wavelength matches perfectly with the physical size, so the horizon of a spinning black hole. Essentially, that 20 solar mass binary system of GW190728 acts as a giant cosmic scale. The team's model shows that if this really is dark matter, it points precisely to an ultralight scalar boson, like an axion, with a mass of 10 to the minus 12 electron volts. Now, to put that into perspective, this particle would be roughly 1,000,000 billion times lighter than an electron. Finding this would completely rule out heavy particle dark matter models like WIMPs and validate a massive branch of string theory and quantum gravity models that predict the existence of these ultralight axion-like particles. Now, anyway, that is all I have time for this week. Thank you to my YouTube Perks members for supporting my video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave me a like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, space cats, fly with me to the stars, faster than light, soaring past Mars, unveiling the cosmos, new worlds to explore.